Welcome back to the Chatter, homeschooling, online assignments. What's it like from the school perspective? Welcome Mike Duncan, the principal of East Meadow Elementary, to the program. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to be on with you guys.
So tell us, how is school? Is it quiet in there right now?
Oh my goodness, it's not anything like we're used to, especially as a principal. I mean, right now it's basically me, my secretary, my custodian, and a few teachers pop in and out every day. But you miss the kids going through the hallway, and it's just very different than what it's ever been before. So
I imagine. Are some of those teachers coming into the classrooms, or are the majority of them doing it from home?
Most of them work from home as much as possible. That's the directive we've been given. But of course, they do need to come in at times to get resources and to use some technology in the classroom. Today, I had the chance to go in. One of my third grade teachers had her class on Zoom, her whole class, and I got to go in and say hi. And that was neat just to see them in their own element on their couch or on their bed. So yeah, it's very different. It's unique. But in some ways, it's been a great learning experience and fun to see them in that in their own environment. So,
right. So, Mike, when you started, I mean, this came on fast. Didn't they announce it on a Friday after school had already been let out?
Yeah, I believe it was it was like March 13th. That the governor said, you know what, we're gonna have a soft closure of schools for 2 weeks, and that was that was pretty. We scrambled a bit, but we as principals we had a meeting that Friday night that went all night long. Our district leadership just did it great, not all night long, but into the night.
Right. Yeah.
And then I have to give mad props to our digital coaches in Nebo School District that met throughout the whole weekend. And we came back on Monday. Teachers had 2 days basically to learn how to use Google Classroom and Seesaw and upload, content, because on Wednesday they started, and it was crazy. There was some learning curves for sure, but after that first week or so, we got underneath us. It's gone much smoother. So,
wow. Yeah, I have been so impressed with all of the teachers and the educators that are still prepping and preparing, and I'm probably doing more in a lot of regards, because to prep that and to get it online into the classroom and to get it on Zoom and get all of those materials uploaded. I mean, I have always said I could never be a school teacher. Certainly we've had to take on that role a little bit, but I feel like, I have two little ones. I have a third grader and one in kindergarten. And as much as I know they miss the school and their friends and their teachers, and for a lot of these little students, it's a safe haven for a lot of different reasons. Are the teachers, I mean, what is it like on that side emotionally? Because, I mean, that's their 9 months out of the year, these little people, they're educating and relying. Is it sad for them also?
You know what? That is probably one of the biggest things I've taken from this is, teachers say how much they love their kids, but I have witnessed teachers in tears missing their kids. I just had two in here the other day, and they said, you know what? I said, give me your take. They're probably going to ask me, what's your feeling about this? And they said, well, we want to keep it positive, but I didn't go into teaching to do it online. So I did it to be with kids. And I've heard that time and time again. These teachers just love those kids, and it's just not the same at all. And to your other point, one of my favorite Facebook posts I saw was, all right, teachers, we get it. Give us the vaccine, right? Like, we understand what you go through now. So
100%. That's a good one.
I had a little experience too. So my son's in high school, and so they're doing all that on Canvas and everything. But we're getting several emails from the teachers and different correspondents, which is great. And then we got an email, and it was titled, "This is positive, I promise." And it was from one of my son's teachers. And I was like, oh boy, okay. So we read through it, and he just said that in the classroom, he had not been able to connect with my son the same way that he has online. And that he was so impressed with some of his responses, because normally he's more shy in the classroom. And he's like, he is one of my top students in his responses. And so it was just, I don't know, in some ways, it has just been really refreshing and really a unique experience to see like how the students may thrive differently in different environments, and that it's more of an intimate connection, I think, that they're making in some regards, even though we're not face to face.
Yeah, absolutely. There's kids that have thrived in this better than they have in the classroom. But it's been neat to see the responsibility the kids have taken for their own learning. It's really up to them in so many ways, and that's been a bit of a challenge because at the start of this, the teachers were told to push out content that was more of a review, so that kids didn't have to, because they didn't have a teacher right there sitting with them, right? So then after it went a little bit longer, we had to eventually start teaching new content, and that puts parents in a bit of a hard spot to now be the one that after the lesson's been given, you're the one there with the kid. And so that's been a little bit tricky to know how much work to give out, because you'll have parents that have 5 kids at home and parents that have 1 kid at home, and so you have to, that's been a fine line balancing how much is too much work at home, how much is the right amount of work. And I don't know that we'll ever get that right. It depends, from household to household, but you're right. There have been kids that have really thrived in this setting. It's been fun to see those kids kind of.
Well, and I give kudos to you guys for making that transition to them. I think that was my point in it, is that they're reaching out to their kids, as if they were in the classroom, and it's making a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had this question also, but how do you think it will impact? I mean, they have already said there probably, or I guess that there won't be end of year testing. So how do you think they will measure the success, either at the beginning of the school year next year or maybe end of year this year?
Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of end of year measurements happening, but I will tell you this is my 8th year as a principal, my first year at East Meadows, but the district has come such a long way with having measurements for reading and math. And so we're very confident that we'll be able to get an accurate measurement once they come back. Also, one neat thing about this is the state and federal government is putting together some funding for it's called CARES funding, and it's for a summer bridge program so that we can bring in teachers and or technicians with some identified kids and give them extra help once that's an okay thing to do, I guess, once the governor opens things up a little bit more. But so we'll have funding to be able to catch some of these kids up a little bit so the slide isn't so drastic, I guess. So
that's good to hear. I'm glad you shared that with us.
Yeah, again, just so impressive for all of the educators.
May is usually your busiest month of the whole year, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you're about to start in it.
Yeah, I usually can't breathe right now. And it's like, I mean, seriously, May is every day there's 12 events going on. And it's like, wow, it's just different. It's in some ways I'm like taking a breath. Like I need to try to just enjoy this as much as I can, but at the same time, I miss all the traditions and end of year parties like that.
Yeah, will they be able to do a sort of graduation, like 6th grade graduation or kindergarten or the program?
Yeah. It's funny, we talked about that today in our principals meeting. It'll probably be something virtual, maybe a diploma, something online. We're toying with that idea. One thing we are doing and several schools have done is a teacher parade. And so I know some schools in Spanish Fork have done those. East Meadows, we're doing ours May 13th from about 10 to noon, where you put one teacher in each car, and you drive through the neighborhoods and wave, and the kids are out on the sidewalk. So that'll be fun. And there's other schools exploring other ways to do that. But yeah.
I love it.
Oh, Mike, good luck. We could really talk to you for a full hour and ask you. There's so many positive things, but then there's a lot of hard things too. So we wish you and your teachers, not only at East Meadows, but throughout the district, the very best.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I need to give just props to the teachers of Nebo School District. They have just stepped up and hit a home run. So thanks to the parents that have, you've been flexible and, just been great through all of this. So we live in a great community, a great district. So it really has been neat to watch. So.
Well, best of luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the fall then.
Okay, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
Thank
course.
you. See you later.
There's more Studio Chatter coming right up.